good, everyone? It's Tee Becoate, and today I am here with a special Diamond Cut Media interview. Today we have Jazlyn Martin from hit Peacock show Bel-Air.
They say they want a bad bitch. Who said? Cause me at the plastic. Alright. Attitude on savage. Skin tight, see through outfit. But
How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad we got this interview. We were talking about a little bit before. We were supposed to do it in person, but we were able to get it done virtually. So how you feeling today?
Tired, but good.
We're tired, but good. That's what's up. All right. So you're in New York City for the moment, right?
Yes.
What brings you to NYC?
I'm just doing a little press run for Bel-Air and for my upcoming EP.
Nice. And we have season 3 of Bel-Air upcoming. And then we have your upcoming EP that's coming out in like a few days. But when this interview will be out, by the time this interview is out, the EP should already be out. So we can just speak on it like it's out. So I think will be out as well.
Got you.
All right, cool. So let's get straight into it. So, most people know you from starring on Peacock hit show Bel-Air, but just tell the people a little bit about, who you are and where you're from.
Yeah. I'm born and raised in LA. Grew up in a very artistic family. I have an older brother, two younger sisters that are twins. I'm very strong, very independent, very driven. And I don't like celery.
Like the celery, like the green celery.
Yeah, like the vegetable.
Why you don't like celery?
It just doesn't click for me. Like celery and peanut butter, I'm like, are you insane? But it works for some people, but not me. I do not like celery.
Yeah, I'm not a celery peanut butter guy either. So, how was it for you growing up in LA?
I mean, it's all I know. I mean, it was good. I always like to hear people's experiences about LA. I'm very protective of my city. I think people from LA are very gentle and they're blunt, but they're nice about it. And I think we're very chill and laid back. And I mean, it's really beautiful. To see so many people move to, where I'm from to pursue their dream. And it's really cool to be able to drive down every street and have a memory there.
Right, and you're a real LA because I saw one of your interviews and you were just saying how like you guys have transplants in the city and everything.
I'm just a lot of people hate on LA and it's because they didn't really get to explore LA. They explored the Hollywood part of it or they met people who aren't not from LA. So I'm just like, give it a chance. I think we have real good people.
Okay, cool. So, talk about your artistic family a little bit, because I saw another one of your interviews. You said your dad actually helped produce one of your newer songs that's out, right? Or newer songs that's coming up.
Yes, he produced Stuck in the Middle. My dad was in the music business. He didn't have a great time in it, but he really shaped and cultivated my love for music. And my mom was a dancer, so I got, both parents really pouring into me artistically and really supporting whatever I choose to do.
Right, and speak about that too, because you're also a trained dancer, right?
Yes.
All right, so both your parents having a huge impact on what you do.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, and so I wanted to say, how long have you been doing all three things? How long have you been acting? How long have you been dancing? How long have you been making music? And which would you say you started with?
I started with dance first. That was my first love. I fell in love with it. My parents always make the joke that I danced before I walked. So from the jump, they put me into dance classes and I just fell in love. And then as I got older, seeing my dad being in the studio playing instruments and singing, I was like, I want to do that too. So I just started singing probably around 5 or 6 and started training when I was like 9. Acting came last. I really fell in love with musical theater because I was like, oh my gosh, it's all three of them. I get to play pretend, I get to sing, I get to dance. I want to do it. And Dreamgirls and Hairspray were like my favorite of all time. So definitely acting first, then singing, and then making music was pretty recent. I always sang and I always was training, but to really make something that was my own is fairly new.
Okay, nice. And you starred in a few like pretty big shows. Obviously, right now you're in Peacock. I'm sorry, you're in Bel-Air on Peacock. You were at All American. What would you say was your first gig though? Like the first, I guess, notable gig for you?
Probably This Is Us. Definitely that one. That's a huge and beautiful show. And I got to dance in that as well. So being able to combine both arts was really cool for me.
Facts. I see they have you dancing a lot. One of the scenes in I know season 2, you were dancing against Will. Um,
Hmm.
how does it feel like being on a cast of like Peacocks? To me, this is Peacock's premiere like show.
Yeah, I mean it's insane. It's such a blessing. It's such an honor. I try not to take it lightly. It's a huge platform and just an iconic show. Like to to do a reimagination of this legendary show is really cool and make it our own, you know. Some people critiqued it like it's not like the original, and I think that's the beautiful part of it, that it's not. It talks about some real things in the Black and brown communities that we don't always get to talk about. And, you know, on set is so much fun, and I'm really happy to be on this ride.
Right. And I want to talk about that a little bit because I heard you speak on it more like, just using your image or using your influence to speak on certain things. And like you said, Bel-Air speaks on certain topics. So is that something you want to continue doing throughout your career?
Absolutely. I don't know what it is, but it's in my bones. And my mom knows this, that I'm just a heavy justice warrior, and I wish I could fight it some days, but I just can't. Um, I would love to, you know, educate people and give people accessibility and resources that they don't always get to have, and, you know, push the narrative and open people's eyes to different perspectives, because I think we need more grace and empathy in the world, and I think art is such a beautiful way to do it.
Definitely. I would ask you this. I saw on your IG you're plant-based, right? What you're eating.
Yes.
Do you feel
Yes,
like that contributes to some of like the way you carry yourself?
absolutely. I think that probably shaped a lot of it for me, because I truly do think being vegan is a selfless act, and I believe life is more important than taste, and I wish to carry that morality throughout my life, not just with my food. So, yeah, I didn't want to contribute to any more oppression or um, hurt and harm.
Definitely. How long have you been on the vegan lifestyle?
Been vegan for about, oh, it's gonna be 7 years in October, and then vegetarian for like 12 years. Yeah, so it's been a minute.
Shout out to you. Maybe one day I can get there. All
You
right.
could do it. You could do it. I promise you. You just gotta make it up in your mind.
All right, maybe. So let's get into it. You star as Jackie on Bel-Air. I've heard some mixed things about Jackie. Some people love your character, and some people don't like Jackie. What's your take on Jackie?
I love Jackie. I think it's very easy to judge someone when you don't know the full story. And I think I would encourage people to give her more grace. She grew up with basically no parents. And so, you know, being abandoned by both, I'm sure she feels quite unlovable. So I try my best to love on her. I try my best to pour into her. She grew up in South Central too, so it's like kill or be killed, you know? So people have their stuff, but a lot of the times the things you don't like in people are the things you don't like about yourself. So I would just challenge people to give her grace. And she's 17 years old. She's figuring it out. She's a girl, and yeah, we gotta, you know, extend some empathy to her just a little bit.
Right. And what was the process like, getting this role, getting Jackie?
So I submitted a self-tape, And about a few days afterwards, my agent called and was like, they would like you to do an in-person chemistry read. So a few days later, I pull up, I'm like, all right, here we go. And I step in, I'm the only person there, and I'm waiting, and someone's on Zoom, and they call me in, I meet Jabari, and we start reading. And they're like, where are you from? And asking me questions. I was like, I'm from LA and grew up here and blah, blah, blah. And I felt like I killed it. I felt like I did my best. And I felt the room felt that way too. And so I left and I was like, I feel like I did my best and it's all in God's hands and whatever happens, happens. And a few days later, my agent was like, we should be hearing back today. I was like, all right. And I was like, let me take myself on a walk so I can distract myself. And so he called me and he's like, hey, so I heard back. And I was like, okay. And he's like, and you're Jackie. And I was like, me? And yeah, that kind of happened.
What is it like auditioning? I know that has to be like nerve-wracking because I can only imagine like it's all the producers, the directors, just everybody just watching you like.
Yes, the best way that I've learned to deal with it is use that nervousness and use that anxiety in the story. So I kind of just like altered it. Like I was like, how is Jackie nervous in this situation? How is Jackie anxious? And because it's human for us to feel that way. So I can't shoo it away. It's impossible. So it's like might as well use it. And yeah, I channel it into the scene as best as I can. Um, it's like redirect that energy into something good. And it's nerve-wracking, it's full of rejection. But you gotta keep going because one day you'll get that yes.
Facts. All right, so I want to ask. So Jackie's character has grown since the show has begun. Has playing her influenced you personally or like professionally? And by professor, I mean like, do you think that'll shape how your future roles will be?
Probably, you can't really like control that. So I don't know, maybe. But personally for sure, um, I think just meeting people who are very survival based can be kind of off-putting because they could seem standoffish or aggressive or just like mean at the forefront. But understanding where people come from and what they've gone through, it's like they've had to be that way, so in order to survive. So I feel like really diving into Jackie and learning about her and really extending my empathy and taking myself out of the equation and because someone lives this life, there's a bunch of Jackies in the world, and so I'd be doing a disservice if I was judging from Jazlyn's world perspective. So it's completely opened me up as a person and as a human.
Okay, that's dope. Cause I hear a lot of people say or actresses or actors say like they kind of take on their character like in their day-to-day life.
I don't know about that. But she's with me for sure. Everywhere I go, she's definitely with me.
Okay, what has been the most challenging scene or storyline that you've had as Jackie, and how did you prepare for it?
Most challenging? Um, that's a good question. Most challenging. I mean, I'd probably say the first day. Like the first day on set, because I'm like, why am I here? Why did they pick me? And it was going back to that, like when Jackie's first introduced, she's very chill. She's very like confident. She's very like, what's up? This is my dog. Who are you? Why are you talking to me? And I was like, oh my gosh, yep, I'll do it. Yep, I got it. So I was like, how do I can't get rid of it. How can I channel it? So I think I was like, how is Jackie nervous in this situation? How is she anxious? How can I love that part of her while still being like chill? And that was the first day for sure, because there's so many thoughts going through my head of like, bro, go home. Like You don't know what you're doing, and yeah, probably that day.
Okay, dope. And is there any part I kind of asked this, but I'll ask again. Is there any part of Jackie's personality or background that you feel like resonates with your life? I know you said you guys, the characters from South Central, you're from South Central, but anything?
Um, yeah, so I'm not from South Central, but
Facts.
Jackie's from South Central, and I think so. I always think you can relate to Jackie. I think any human being can relate to another human being if you choose to. I think there are some things I resonate with her, and there's other things that I don't. I think we're both strong. I think we're both driven and we're independent. I think we're both confident. Um, I think I'm I think I'm strong of nature, and I think Jackie is strong because she's had to. She's had to be, growing up in that environment with no parents. You had to be strong. You had to be tough and not soft. And I think that really takes a toll on a young girl. So we grew up extremely different.
Okay, dope. And I want to ask because I know you said your first day you was nervous, but obviously you got it together because you're back on season three. So your chemistry with the other cast members is fantastic. The example we talked about it a little earlier, dance scene in season two with Will or Jabari. Can you share any behind the scenes moments that helped you guys like build chemistry or connection?
Um, I mean, we would always just hang out a lot. Like me and the cast would just go like get food afterwards, or um, I don't we like to go out sometimes, like, or we'd go roller skating. So I think, and just even on set, like it's really just a playground on set. Like I can't believe we're at work because it's just jokes and laughs all the time. So it's just like, yeah, those little moments of connecting to the human being instead of the actor.
Okay, I want to have you get into your advice giving bag. What advice would you give to any aspiring actress who wants to break into the industry, especially those young ladies who look up to your work on Bel-Air?
I always say have a strong purpose, because that's gonna keep you going. You're gonna get a lot of no's, and those no's shouldn't stop you if your purpose is strong and rooted in something bigger than yourself. So, you got to know your why you're doing this. Because if you got that, nothing's gonna stop you.
Love it, love it. All right, so and then we spoke about this earlier too. How do you feel Bel-Air? Because you spoke a little bit how it speaks on certain topics that aren't always spoken on. So how do you feel Bel-Air is contributing to those conversations around like culture, identity in our community?
Yeah, I think it talks a lot about identity, and like it's funny because my project's called Identity Crisis, but um,
You
you
see?
know, but I think, Carlton goes through identity crisis. I think, Will's going through identity, like, am I a Bel Air kid or am I a West Philly kid? It's just, can I be both? I think it talks a lot about generational trauma, which is, like a new topic, and of course, mental health. And I think Black and brown people have always focused on surviving, that they haven't had the luxury to really check in on themselves and be like, how am I doing today? So I think, the show's really opening up conversations for the older generation, with anxiety and depression. Because some folks are like, that's not a real thing. Just be happy, go up and do it. So I think it's really encouraging people to, you know, start those conversations, which are important.
Right. And I want to ask you because you're like you speak on that a lot. You're Afro Latina.
Mhm.
Did you ever feel yourself going through an identity crisis?
Oh, please. All the time. Growing up, you're a kid. You don't know any better. You don't know what it means to be black, white. You're just a kid. But as I got older, I was like, okay, these people look at me differently, or these people treat these people differently. And I felt like, the world was telling me who I was instead of me deciding who I was. And being Black and Mexican, I was like, damn, I'm not Mexican enough. Damn, I'm not Black enough. And I always felt more accepted in the Black community rather than the Latino community, just because there's a lot of anti-Blackness within that, and we're gonna go where we're accepted. So, and I didn't grow up traditionally Mexican. Like I don't speak Spanish. I didn't grow up like making tortillas and all that stuff. So, still battling with that till this day, and I'm gonna probably always battle with that. But yeah, feeling like a sense of belonging has been a little difficult.
Okay. Well, happy that you're feeling accepted a little bit on this side. So I want to ask, so let's get into it. You got your EPO. Aside from playing Jackie, you're also a super talented artist. Debut EP, Identity Crisis. By the time this interview is out, it's gonna be out. So we're gonna say it's out now. What was the creative process behind that project?
Ooh, um, it was messy. It was extremely messy. It was all over the place. I didn't know what my first project was gonna be. And then I had a conversation with a friend, and he was like, "What story do you want to tell as your first project?" And, with acting, of course, I'm a storyteller, and I was like, I want to tell something authentic and real to me, at least, this is my first introduction to the world as an artist. So, yeah, I just kind of cultivated around having an identity crisis, and each song is kind of dedicated to a different conflict in my head. Like, do I follow the world or do I follow God? Do I be the soft, vulnerable person that I really want to be, or do I got to be hard and tough because the world is making me that way? And each song is just, like a battle. You got to choose which side. And so writing it was very vulnerable. I had a beautiful, beautiful team that, really nurtured and poured into me. But the process it was all over the place. But that's what an identity crisis is, it's confusing and it's all over the place. So it reflected that.
Okay, what's your favorite song or feature on there?
You can't ask me that.
Because technically, by the time this interview drops, the tape will be out. So it's not like you're
That's true.
you're not spoiling anything.
You're right. Well, I only got one feature on it, which is the amazing Fabo.
Oh,
He is fire. Crazy songwriter, crazy artist. But my favorite song, I'd probably say it's Lead Me to Love, which is the last song. It's very raw, it's very big. Um, it doesn't sound perfect, which was the point of it. And it feels a little bluesy, gospel-y, which I like.
all right. And I want to ask, how would you describe your sound? Because I saw also in another interview, you said there's a lot of bad B music. I don't want to say it, but a lot of bad explicit word music for women. And then you say your music is not that, it's representing the other side. So like, what do you mean by that? Like, can you speak on that a little more?
Yeah, of course. So for They Say, I wanted to like write the narrative of like society, and I feel like specifically insecure men are telling us women how to dress, how to act, how to talk, and like you gotta be a bad bitch if you can I say that? You gotta be a
Nah, you
bad
could curse, you could curse. I
okay, okay.
didn't want to, say
I
that.
don't even curse that much, but I had to for the song. So I was like, you gotta be a bad bee to be wanted, to be loved. And you hear that being encouraged with music, which is totally okay. There's nothing wrong with living that lifestyle. I just wanted to expose and like kind of welcome the other side of it for the women who don't identify with that, for the women who don't, you know, want to live that lifestyle, or who are like, I'm this, I'm not that. So I wanted to be like a little inclusive and be like, you don't have to change to be loved, or to think that you're cute, or like you could wear some sweats and a hoodie and be a bad bitch. So I wanted to expand the definition of what a bad bitch is.
I can champion that because everybody can't be the same. So
No, no, and it's exhausting. And not every day we can be one. And I'm okay with that. I love, yeah, I don't know. Just That's a lot to be all the time.
Okay, how'd you hook up with United Masters?
So Ahmad, he reached out to me through my publicist, and he heard the project and wanted to get a meeting, and we got on a Zoom call because he's based in New York. Got to meet him today actually. And he was just like, this is one of the most beautiful projects I've ever heard. And I was like, all right, you don't gotta lie to me. Like, I know it's good. And he was like, I'm not lying. I wouldn't lie. He's like, it's very real and authentic and people can relate to it. So I think, hearing someone being able to relate to the concept of my project is special. And still it's cool if someone's like, you're talented and it sounds great, but for them to like acknowledge the artistry, it's really cool.
That's dope. That's dope. So you got your upcoming project, which will be out by the time this drops. Bel-Air season 3 is out now. I do have a few questions about season 3 before we get off. Can
Okay,
you
let's hear it. Yeah.
do spoilers or no? Probably not.
Spoilers. I can't give any spoilers because this season's so juicy. It's so good. Like, I can't.
Because I had a couple of people send some questions, and once I put it out there that we were doing an interview,
Okay.
some of the homies, some of the homegirls, they wanted to know. I know you probably can't answer these, but I'm gonna throw them out there. They wanted to know, did Will go back to basketball?
I can't answer.
All right. The second, you don't have to answer if you can't. Number two, they said, did Carlton relapse?
Okay, these are all spoilers. What they know what they're
No,
doing.
you don't have to answer. I'm gonna ask the last one. This is for Kelsey. She told me to make sure I shout her out if I ask these questions. And the
Okay.
last one, she says, who does Hillary end up with?
That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, those are the answers for the spoilers. You gotta tune in to season 3 on Peacock to find
Gotta
out
watch.
so. All right, cool, perfect. So, yo, Jazlyn, I want to thank you for sitting down with us today. I wish we could have did it in person, but the energy was still great virtually, and I want to thank you for that.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, let all the people know where they can find your music, find you, and watch the show.
Yes, music will be on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, everything, YouTube. And then you guys can follow me on Instagram, Jazlyn Martin, and then TikTok as well. Trying to get more into my socials, which I'm bad at, but yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Jazlyn. Don't get off yet though. Before you
Okay.
get off, can we just get a drop for the brand?
Yeah, of
It's
course.
like say, hey, I'm Jazlyn Martin, Diamond Cut Media. Let them know your new tape and season 3 and stuff is out. I'm gonna mute my mic, so you go ahead.
Hey y'all, it's Jazlyn Martin here with Diamond Cut Media. I got my upcoming debut EP coming out, Identity Crisis, on August 30th, and the season 3 of Bel-Air. So go tune in.